Cell roaming charges on a cruise can be hundreds or even thousands of dollars. We will tell you how to avoid expensive cell phone roaming charges and still be able to communicate with others while at sea. We will also tell you how to use the ship's Wi-Fi and how the ship's Wi-Fi is different than the cruise line internet packages. Stay to the end and learn our tips on how to save money.
Hi all, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Becky.
And together we're cruising a good time. Cell phone charges at sea can be incredibly expensive, and you can rack up those roaming charges and fees very, very fast if you're not careful. In this video, we're going to tell you how to avoid those excessive cell phone roaming charges, what to look for on your phone so you know if you're getting that roaming charge, and then we're going to talk about how to use the ship's Wi-Fi, how the Wi-Fi differs from the internet, and finally stick around to the end because we're going to give you some key money-saving tips on how you can save some money on your next cruise.
So a little more breakdown on what we're covering today. We're going to talk about 5 things. We're going to talk about cell phone data. We're going to talk about ship's Wi-Fi. We're going to talk about ship's internet. And in this, we're also going to compare from cruise line to cruise line what the ship's packages offer for the internet. And Jeff has done some speed analysis. We'll also cover ship-to-shore calls and money-saving tips. So we said we'd discuss cell phone data. So the first thing is as soon as you get on your ship, turn your phones to airplane mode. And this means all devices. This means your phone, your watches, your tablet, anything that has cell service, be sure to put it in airplane mode.
Most of the U.S. land carriers have a program called Cellular at Sea, and it's a little tricky because it'll default to Cellular at Sea if you're on board the ship and you're in international water. So you really have to watch out for this, and that's a key reason for going to airplane mode. If you default to this, you can see right here by these packages are astronomical in cost. Up to $3 a minute to talk, $1.50 for a text, and look at this. They charge you $2 per megabyte, and nobody's measured anything megabyte since 1988. It's really expensive and how they can rack that up. In fact, we had a problem on an Alaska cruise. It wasn't even in international. We left one of our phones off airplane mode for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and it racked up a lot of charge, about $20, $25, just like that, before we found it and turned it off. The reason for this is because your cell phone is in constant communication with the carrier's tower, so you can get your email pushed down to you and get your text pushed down to you, all that stuff. So it's constantly moving data back and forth, which is why the megabyte data limit is just stupid low. Your carrier, like AT&T, will offer a package for Cellular at Sea, and they'll harp about that on their website. But if you look at this, 7-day cruise would cost you $100 for Cellular at Sea, and it's really not that good compared to what you get off the Starlink. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So watch out for that too. It's your call, but our advice is not to do anything on Cellular at Sea. On this graphic, we're going to show you the 4 different carriers for different types of cell data that you can find at sea. If you see one of these on your phone, go to airplane mode immediately, because that means you're at the Cellular at Sea or one of these other carriers that are used worldwide, and you're racking up some serious charges.
So another option can be that when you're in port, you turn your phone on and you do whatever work or anything you need to do while at port. And if you're at an international port, your international plan can have something usually for a daily charge. For AT&T, we're paying about $12 per day.
And we're going to talk about Wi-Fi calling later on in the video when we get to the Wi-Fi, and that's another great option to save some money there too.
Almost every cruise ship has their own Wi-Fi, and it's not the same as the internet. The ship's Wi-Fi allows you to communicate things while aboard ship, and the ship's Wi-Fi allows you to use the ship's app, and the ship's app will work so much better if you're utilizing the ship's Wi-Fi program. Using the cruise line apps is so very helpful. Now it varies from cruise line to cruise line, but you might be able to make dining reservations, make show reservations, chat with the help desk, and message other passengers that you have allowed to share data with.
Yeah, and I think a key thing there is to remember that you're just using the ship's Wi-Fi, no charge, right? Because they want you to use it and make the app work, and it's different than going out to the internet. So once you get on board the ship, check your app, because most of the apps will walk you through how to connect to their Wi-Fi right there. They just go to the Wi-Fi part of the app and it says, hey, do this, this, and this. And they always say the first thing is put it on airplane mode. The next thing we want to talk about is the ship's internet. So the ship's internet, like we mentioned, differs from the Wi-Fi, and it really, technically, there's a firewall that you're passing through, and the ship allows you to pass through that firewall into the internet. They'll charge you for this typically, and nowadays, almost every cruise line uses Starlink, and I've had really good luck with Starlink. I've tested Starlink north of the Arctic Circle, and I've tested it in the middle of the equatorial Atlantic, right in dead center of the Atlantic Ocean. Great results both places. And the old school internet wouldn't work in either one of those places.
All cruise lines offer internet packages and or include them in different packages. This table is going to show more information on the major lines and what's included. But please note, the luxury brands like Viking, Seabourn, Regent, normally the internet is included as part of their fare. So let's go through this table. For Virgin voyages, internet is automatically included. If you look at Princess, if you buy the Princess Plus or the Princess Premier package, internet is included. The Celebrity Cruises all-included fare includes the internet. Holland America Have It All package includes the internet. For Carnival and MSC, you must purchase your internet a la carte. For Royal Caribbean, the Key program includes it. The Key program allows guests to have access to exclusive experiences. And the Norwegian More at Sea bundle includes it. Please note that More at Sea bundle, it only allows you to have a certain amount of minutes instead of unlimited internet. For most of the check, this is like a slower internet. This is one that you can get data from it and send your emails no problem, but it's going to be a little slow for streaming. The one exception is the Princess Plus and Princess Premier. For these two packages, you get their high-speed internet capable of streaming. This has been a huge deal for Jeff.
But make no mistake, all the other cruise lines, they're more than happy to sell you an upcharge to get to faster internet. So if it's not fast enough, they'll make it really easy for you to upgrade. Don't worry about that.
A very important thing to note is that for these packages, if they say it's one internet connection, they mean one device. So if you're connected to your cell phone, you can't switch it to your computer. Now, once again, the exception to this is Princess. Their Princess Plus and Princess Premier packages allows you to switch devices, and we have really taken advantage of that. For instance, if Jeff needs to utilize his computer, he can use his phone connected up to the internet and then use my phone to connect his computer. So that way he can do his two-factor authentication without purchasing another internet package.
Now, all the cruise lines will also sell you more than one device. So the default is one device per one person, and you could buy up to 4 devices per person if you need to do the two-factor authentication, all that. But another money-saving tip is it may be cheaper for one person in the cabin to buy 4 devices and then share 3 devices with other people in the cabin or other people in your party. We used to do that back in the day before Princess Plus. I'd buy a 4-pass, and then both our daughters and Becky would also share that, and that was cheaper than buying 4 individual packages. Do a little math right there, see what one's best for you.
It's really interesting to me how much all of this varies and how much the cost of utilizing the internet is different from cruise line to cruise line. And sometimes if 2 cruises have the same itinerary, this is what makes us decide which one's cheaper with the overall cost.
And you may be asking, why didn't we put any costs on the table? And the fact is, these between the 7 or 8 cruise lines we showed you, somebody's changing their prices almost continuously. So by the time we got this uploaded and out, it would be out of date.
And also, some of these cruise lines have a multitude of options. So that's why you really need to look at this on the cruise line's website for new, accurate, and complete data.
Another way to save some money on there and not use the cell phone data is most phones will allow Wi-Fi calling from your phone. We have a good friend, travels with us all the time on cruises. She talks almost every day to one of her grandchildren using FaceTime, which is a form of Wi-Fi calling, and they can check in with each other and everybody's happy. Doesn't spend a dime on any type of roaming charges that way. Another thing that cruise lines offer, and it's really old school nowadays, is the ship-to-shore call that you could make if there's an emergency. You used to be able to make a ship-to-shore call ashore, and they'll still offer that today at an insane price of $5 to $10 per minute. So I contend, never do a ship-to-shore call. Even if you're not on the internet and you need to talk to somebody ashore, pony up for a one-day rate on the internet and make a Wi-Fi call because it'll be cheaper than doing the ship-to-shore call at the end of the day. Another option is if you don't want to get the internet package on board a ship, a lot of people wait. They go into the ports. Most ports have some sort of free Wi-Fi. In the States here, we have it in every single Starbucks around, but they'll have different cafes and all that. You can get Wi-Fi for free. That's another way to check in and get all your email and stuff like that. I'll give you a word of warning on that. Use a VPN if you're on those public Wi-Fis, because there could be some nefarious actors on that. And if you use a VPN, it just makes your data on your device a little more secure.
Another option is to only communicate when you're in port and use your international cell plan. One of my good friends, that's where she does all her business calls, etc., as she waits till she gets in port. I'd prefer to do it on the ship because I love my port days.
Using an international cell plan is also useful for like using maps. Like we use it, I use it a lot when we're just walking around a port and port town and you got some of these windy streets. It's real handy to have the map on your phone to get back to someplace you're going to be.
Another handy feature is if you have the international cell plan on, and when you take a photo, it identifies where you are, which can be so useful. It even allows you to use search functions later when looking for photos.
Before we get into the money-saving tips that we promised you,
we have a lot of videos that evaluate different apps, etc. So it helps make you determine the best economical choices for you, as well as videos on ship tours and different ports around the world. As promised, we're going to talk about some of our money-saving tips. Number one is as soon as you walk on the ship, every time, make sure your phone and all cellular devices are on airplane mode.
Keep in mind that the ship's Wi-Fi is free and it makes the apps work, so your cruising experience is just going to be a lot better being able to do everything you can through the app to augment your cruise experience.
Another one is before you get on your cruise, look at the bundles and the Wi-Fi and determine if you wish to get a package. And for many of these cruise lines, you get a better deal if you book it before you get on the ship.
When you're on board, use FaceTime calling or Wi-Fi calling. It saves some money that way. You don't have to use the cell data at all.
When choosing your internet plan, be sure to look online and look at if it's cheaper to buy 4 devices for one person that you could share amongst 4 people instead of buying 4 packages for 1 device for 4 individuals.
Never use a ship-to-shore call. Just use a Wi-Fi call on your phone. It's so much cheaper than having to go through a ship-to-shore call, and plus it's more 21st century anyway.
If you don't want to buy any internet packages on the ship, another option is when you're in shore, you can go to an internet cafe or you can use your international cell plan on your phone. We hope you've enjoyed this video.
If you liked the video, please give us a like and subscribe and turn on those notifications. It really helps us out.
Until next time, have a cruising good time.